Show. I get right into it this segment. It's always a short segment coming up on the last of the show. Last week I hit on the drug war a little bit, and I want to finish what we were talking about because I always get a lot of feedback on that. And what I want you to do is think about the drug war in these terms. We are killing people because we demand they act a certain way in their personal lives. Now you say, but they're killing themselves, Patrick. Well, so I can do that quite effectively with alcohol. In fact, many people die from alcohol poisoning and alcohol-related accidents each year. But I don't hear demands to stop producing and selling liquor or beer. If we try to impose a religious morality on a homosexual person, everyone screams and yells that we shouldn't be telling that person how to live. That what they do in their bedroom, in their own house, that's none of our business. But let someone light up a doobie or take some other type of non-government approved drug. Now it is our business what they're doing in their bedroom or in their house. All of a sudden, it's our business now. If we would stop this insane war, how many people would we be saving each year? How many lives? How many officers of the various agencies in this country would we not be wasting? Plus, we'd be going a lot more further down the road towards more personal liberty. Let's look at this in reality. There's always a certain percentage of people who are going to do drugs. There are a certain percentage of people who are going to drink excessively. And there are a certain percentage of people who are going to die every day. Nothing we can really do about it. There will always be a percentage of people who are not going to live according to how you live your life, how you think everyone else should live theirs. But if they aren't infringing on your rights, nor anyone else's, is it really wrong for them to live that way? Just because you don't agree with that lifestyle. I remember listening to Dr. Ron Paul speaking, and he once said, tolerance does not equal acceptance. Just because I tolerate what you're doing doesn't mean I accept it or that I'm going to live my life in that manner. But I have no right to impose my standards of living on you, just as you have no right to impose your standards on me. You may not understand why everyone wouldn't want to be an astrophysicist, while others may not understand why you wouldn't want to be a contractor. But we don't say everyone should work a particular job or another, that everyone should work for a safe profession like a banker instead of a highly risky one like crab fishermen. A banker with a cocaine habit may live until they're 80 years old, while a crab fisherman in excellent shape, he may get killed at 32. Are we going to say the banker doing drugs was throwing his life away? That the crab fisherman in excellent shape didn't? Well, neither answer is correct because they're doing what they wanted to do with their lives at the time. It isn't up to us to judge whether they're making sound decisions or not. They were doing what they decided to do. Unfortunately, right now in this country, the government demands you bend to their requirements to live as it thinks you should. If you participate in activities that it doesn't deem legal, no matter that you aren't hurting anyone else, nor are you infringing on someone else's rights, it doesn't matter. If you are caught not living according to how the government says you should, then you will be made to pay a fine and maybe even put in a cage until you can learn to do so. Until you learn that you have to obey the government's wishes on how you are to live your personal life, or you'll be punished. Again, doesn't matter that you aren't hurting anyone else. Doesn't matter you aren't infringing on another person's rights. It doesn't matter. You aren't living how the government says you should be living. Therefore, you must be punished until you either agree to do so, or you maybe even die in your cage. Now, does that sound like a reasonable requirement to you? Does that sound like how a reasonable person should act? You wouldn't tolerate your neighbor or someone at work or even John Q. citizen on the street. You wouldn't tolerate them telling you how you should live your personal life, what you can or cannot do in the privacy of your own home. So if you won't tolerate it from them, why do you allow the government to do it? In legal circles, many times your actions are judged on whether a reasonable person in the same situation would have acted the same way. And if they wouldn't have, then you would be found guilty of whatever you're being accused of. But if the government doesn't act in a reasonable fashion, if it makes unreasonable demands, we just sit out here and let it happen and keep electing the same old treacherous people to office who continue to propose and vote for this garbage. These insane laws intended to tell you how to live, to regulate every facet of your life, every single little piece of your life. They want total control, and we keep sitting here handing our freedom and liberty over to the government, even glad to do it, eager to do it, sometimes in the name of safety or security or fairness, or whatever reason they have cooked up to take away more of your freedom. Now, that's why this radio show is here, to wake you up to what is going on, to make you think about what you're being told, to run everything you hear through a type, I guess, for a better word, a libertarian filter in your ear, through a filter of thinking about things in relation to freedom and liberty. All right, we're up on the end of the Patrick Regan Show here. Another fun-packed week of, well, us sitting here talking about getting back our country. I want to thank you for tuning in again here on News Talk 98.7 WOKI. If you want more information about us, I mentioned this earlier, you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Patrick Regan Show, facebook.com/Patrick Regan Show. Be sure and hit the like button. You can also go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Patrick Regan Show, and all the archive shows are there. And if you want to, you can also drop us a card or letter to the WOKI studios here on Old Kingston Pike in Knoxville, Tennessee. Thank you for listening to us once again, and join me next Saturday afternoon at 4, where we'll be fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. Thanks for listening, and have a fantastic week.
Join us again next week for another solid dose of truth. The Patrick Regan Show. Saturdays at 4 on News Talk 98.7 WOKI.